exposing the incredible bond. How my 6-year-old niece transformed my life on a stormy night. Sarah's heart felt heavy as the storm raged outside. Dark clouds rolled in, mirroring the turmoil within her. The weight of losing her childhood home pressed down like a 1,000-pound stone. Memories swirled around her basketball games in the driveway, the laughter of family during holiday dinners, moments that now felt like distant echoes. Her once promising career as a real estate agent had crumbled in the face of a pandemic. Each tick of the clock echoed her financial insecurity, the American dream slipping through her fingers. She glanced at her vivacious 6-year-old niece, Lily, who had come over for the evening. Sarah had reluctantly agreed to babysit, her heart sinking further at the thought of a child's joy contrasting her despair. The wind howled outside, and raindrops tapped the windows like little fingers desperate to get in. Lily, unbothered by the storm, laughed as she built an elaborate tower of blocks on the living room floor. Every giggle sent a pang of frustration through Sarah. Why can't I be as carefree? She thought bitterly. Just then, a crash from outside made Sarah's heart race. She snapped Lily, "Can you please keep your toys organized? It's a mess." The words left her mouth like arrows, piercing the air between them. Lily paused, holding her stuffed bunny tightly, her forehead creased in confusion. "Aunt Sarah, I'm just playing." Her innocent eyes searched for understanding. But Sarah felt the walls of resentment closing in the suffocating silence that followed. The world outside darkened even more. Suddenly, with a loud pop, the power went out, plunging them into darkness. Panic twirled with frustration until Lily's excited voice broke the silence. "Let us make a blanket fort." They hurriedly gathered couch cushions and thick blankets. Soon, they were huddled inside the fort, the storm raging outside, but laughter echoing within. Wrapped in a cocoon of fabric, they shared stories. "Aunt Sarah, what do you dream about?" asked Lily, eyes full of curiosity. The question hung in the air. Sarah felt a flicker of something. Was it hope? She admitted, "I just want to be happy, to find my way again." As she spoke, the weight on her chest lightened, and for the first time in days, she felt seen. "Me too, but I just want cookies and a unicorn," Lily chirped. The absurdity made Sarah laugh genuinely, tears pooling in her eyes, and when Lily danced, twirling with abandon, her laughter rang true and bright like a summer morning. The contrast of laughter against the drumming rain drew a beautiful picture of resilience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they shared dreams, fears, and silly anecdotes, Sarah realized that connection mattered more than the weight of expectations. The storm outside began to quiet, and she felt a spark of determination to push through her struggles. A sense of purpose filled her heart as though she was standing at the helm of a ship navigating through murky waters. Yet, watching Lily's innocence, she felt a lingering question gnawing at her. Could she truly embrace life as simple joys amidst such chaos? As the dawn approached, Sarah felt hope blossoming, but the real storm inside her remained, leaving readers eager to discover whether she would find the strength to reclaim her life. As the first light of dawn crept in through the cracks of their makeshift fort, illuminating the scattered toys and blankets, Sarah felt a refreshing wave of clarity. It was a new day, and the storm inside her was still present, but now it felt different. Perhaps it was the remnants of laughter still ringing in her ears, or Lily's innocent joy holding her hand, guiding her out of darkness and into the sunrise. "Can we make breakfast?" Lily's voice chimed, her eyes sparkling with the enthusiasm only a child could possess. Sarah nodded, a smile breaking through her earlier anxieties. Of course. Together, they emerged from the fort, blinking into the daylight. The kitchen felt foreign, its silence now comforting rather than intimidating. She rummaged through cabinets, trying to remember how to be a joyful aunt, not just a struggling adult with burdens on her shoulders. "What do you want? Pancakes or eggs?" Sarah asked, pulling out the essentials. "Pancakes. With sprinkles." Lily exclaimed, dancing on her toes. As the batter sizzled on the griddle, Sarah joined Lily in the rhythm of the day. They sang silly songs about unicorns and cookies, each note ringing clearer than the last. Laughter replaced the remnants of despair, and for Sarah, that laughter became a lifeline, pulling her closer to the surface. "Can we put more sprinkles in the batter?" Lily asked, mischief twinkling in her eyes. "Why not?" Sarah replied, pouring a generous portion, watching in amusement as Lily's face lit up with delight. Just moments later, they sat at the dining table, a bright, colorful plate of pancakes between them, decorated like a work of art. "You know," Sarah said, with a hint of seriousness returning to her voice, "you make things so much brighter." Lily beamed, cheeks stuffed with pancake. "Like sunshine?" "Exactly like sunshine," Sarah agreed, feeling warmth flood her heart. She realized, in that simple moment over breakfast, how vital this connection was not just for Lily, but for her own fractured spirit. The storm could rage, circumstances could change, but this moment was theirs, one woven with laughter, pancakes, and unfiltered joy. They cleared away their plates. The night's memories flashed in Sarah's mind, the fear, the pressures, the feeling of being lost. But they were slowly being overshadowed by this warmth, this reminder that life had sweet spots, even in dark times. "Do you think we can build a bigger fort tonight?" Lily asked, eyes wide with excitement. "Sparkling with dreams of another adventure," Sarah chuckled. "Absolutely. We can build a whole kingdom if you want." The idea fueled something deeper than childlike whimsy in Sarah's heart. For the first time in ages, creativity nudged at her. It urged her to think beyond survival, to contemplate dreams that had long been buried. But as they finished tidying up, a familiar dread clung to her thoughts like fog. Could she find the strength not just to build a fort, but to rebuild her life? Would the joy they found together be enough to mend the fractures of her spirit? With Lily chirping about unicorn fortresses, the questions lingered, echoing like the distant memories of laughter. And as they headed outside to gather more supplies for their next adventure, Sarah knew deep down that the real challenge awaited. Would she gather the courage to face what lay ahead, beyond the laughter and warmth of pancakes? While the day was bright, shadows began to creep in, making her wonder. What if reclaiming her dreams meant she'd have to confront the hardest truths of her life? The sunlight spilled over the yard, catching the vibrant colors in Lily's drawings scattered around. Armed with a basket, they ventured outside to gather blankets, old sheets, and anything they could find to create their kingdom. Sarah felt the warmth of the sun on her face, a gentle reminder that brighter days lay ahead. "Look, this one can be the wall," Lily exclaimed, dragging a bright yellow sheet triumphantly across the grass. It was tattered but full of life, just like them. The fort they had made last night gradually transformed into a sprawling kingdom, a place where unicorns danced and laughter echoed against the clouds. Sarah encouraged Lily's creativity, marveling at her boundless imagination. "What should we call this place?" she asked while helping to prop up another sheet. "Sprinkle Kingdom," Lily declared, throwing her arms in the air. "Because it's colorful and yummy." "Perfect," Sarah laughed, her heart feeling lighter with each silly idea. She tucked away her own worries, watching Lily's eyes glimmer with joy. Sarah found strength in those bright moments, realizing just how much she had missed enjoying life. As the sun climbed higher, clouds of doubt seeped into her thoughts. What was it about establishing this kingdom that felt so daunting? Lily didn't see the mess of their lives. She saw joy in the chaos. Could Sarah do the same? "Okay, Queen Lily of Sprinkle Kingdom," Sarah said, leaning in with a playful grin. "What's our first royal decree?" Lily thought for a moment, her forehead wrinkled in concentration. "We need a parade. All the toys need to join us for a celebration." "Mighty decree, Your Highness," Sarah responded, clapping her hands dramatically. As they rallied the stuffed animals and dolls, Lily led the charge, performing an imaginary parade dance that made Sarah chuckle. In that moment, Sarah felt the first stirrings of hope. It wasn't just about rebuilding. It was about rediscovering the joy of living. Just as they were about to start their parade, a ring of her phone broke the magical atmosphere. With hesitation, she reached for it, her heart dropping as she saw her sister's name flashing on the screen. The weight of responsibility tugged at her. Would this call bring back the storm? Hesitant, she answered it. "Sarah." Can we talk? Her sister's voice was tight, a thread of anxiety weaving through her words. I need to discuss the situation at home. It's getting worse. Sarah swallowed hard. The worries she had tucked away clawed their way back into her mind, threatening to unravel the joy she had just found with Lily. She watched as her niece shaped paper crowns from leaves and twigs, oblivious to the shadows creeping back in. I don't know, Jess. I'm trying to make things better for us, Sarah said, her voice shaking slightly. She felt the joy of the day slipping away, replaced by a tightening knot of anxiety in her stomach. Just listen to me, okay? I don't think I can hold on much longer, her sister pressed, a hint of desperation in her voice. We will figure it out, Sarah replied, trying to muster confidence. But even as she said it, doubt clouded her mind. Could she really manage this? Could she remain the joyful aunt with everything else spiraling? Sarah hung up, her heart heavy. As Lily effortlessly twirled in the sun, filled with laughter, the contrast was stark. Are you okay, Auntie? Lily's bright voice broke through her thoughts. Yeah, just a little tired, I think, Sarah replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. That a moment of silence lingered between them, thick with unspoken fears. Let's start the parade, Lily shouted, squeezing Sarah's hand with excitement. But as they jumped back into the game, Sarah's mind drifted to the conversations ahead, each word a potential storm cloud. The joy of the moment felt fragile, like it could shatter with one harsh reality. And just as they began to march around the kingdom, another thought popped up. What if all this joy wasn't enough to heal the rifts in her family? Would the laughter and creativity that sparked life in her heart hold up against the weight of their struggles? Questions swirled in Sarah's mind as she joined Lily in their joyous parade, caught between the radiance of childhood innocence and the shadows of harsh realities closing in. Would she stay in Sprinkle Kingdom forever, or would she have to leave to face the thunder brewing just outside their colorful fortress? The parade kicked off with a flurry of enthusiasm. Lily waved her handmade crown in the air, leading the procession as Sarah clapped along. The stuffed animals bounced cheerfully in their arms, while the breeze rustled through the leaves, creating a whimsical soundtrack to their innocent revelry. Look, Auntie, it's the royal procession, Lily shouted, glancing back with an infectious grin that lit up her whole face. All our friends from Sprinkle Kingdom are here to celebrate. Sarah's heart swelled as she watched her niece's joy. For a moment, everything else faded away: the worries about home, the uncertainty of her sister's situation, the creeping shadows that seemed to linger just beyond their kingdom. Here, amidst the laughter and glittering paper crowns, she could almost convince herself that they were safe, cocooned in a world of their own making. Suddenly, Lily stopped, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Auntie, you have to join the dance. It's the royal jig. Before Sarah could react, Lily grabbed her hand and started to spin in circles, her laughter ringing clear like the peals of a spring bell. Sarah couldn't help but join in despite the heaviness in her heart. Watching Lily move so freely ignited something deep within her, a flicker of joy dancing just beneath the worry. When they finally collapsed onto the grass, both giggling breathlessly, Sarah turned to Lily. You know, your dance could brighten even the cloudiest day, just like our kingdom. Lily hopped to her feet, placing her hands on her hips, the very picture of a queen ruling over her domain. No storms allowed. Absolutely no storms, Sarah agreed, smiling back, but that notion sent a shiver down her spine. The concern about what the next call from Jess would bring prickled at the edges of her thoughts, the weight returning like a black cloud. Can we make an extra special part of Sprinkle Kingdom for a secret? Lily asked, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. Of course. What do you have in mind? Sarah's heart ached delightfully at Lily's contagious enthusiasm. A secret fort where only you and me can go, where we can hide from the storms, Lily said, bouncing with excitement. Nobody can find us there. The idea resonated with Sarah. A sanctuary of their own. Simple, yet profound. That sounds perfect, Queen Lily, she replied, feeling a rush of determination. But as excitement filled the air, a nagging uncertainty loomed. Could they truly escape the storms brewing outside their colorful fortress? In an effort to quell her worry, she jumped up. Let us get to work. We'll need the biggest blanket for the roof. As they gathered supplies, Sarah's mind raced. She threw herself into the activity, locking away the fear that threatened to rise within her. Together, they draped a large, old quilt over a low branch and secured it with rocks, creating a makeshift roof for their secret fort. The air felt lighter with every sweep and tug. With each tie and pull, however, the thoughts of her sister's struggles loomed large, a constant reminder of the realm of reality looming just outside their kingdom. Just in that moment, the phone vibrated sharply in her pocket. Each buzz felt like a thunderclap, shaking her to the core. Maybe it's a celebration message? Lily suggested, tilting her head curiously, the innocence of youth glimmering in her wide eyes. Sarah hesitated, torn between her responsibility and the world they had created. Could she open that door again? Or would it disrupt the joy they had fought so hard to build? We should check, right? Just in case. Lily tugged at her sleeve. Sarah felt the weight of her niece's trust resting on her shoulders. Would she choose to protect this moment? Or would she unearth the uncertainty threatening to invade their kingdom? With a deep breath, she reached for her phone, fingers trembling. What awaited her on the other side of that screen could change everything. Sarah held her breath as her fingers hovered over the screen, the vibrant world of Sprinkle Kingdom falling quiet in that suspended moment. With a tremor, she opened the message. A part of her felt like she was stepping off the edge into a deep, dark abyss. The screen glowed with an unexpected urgency. There was a text from Jess, and the words poured out, full of emotion. Hey, I really need to talk to you. Can you call me when you get a chance? Each letter stabbed at Sarah's heart, a reminder of the troubled waters swirling around her sister's life. Is everything okay, Auntie? Lily's voice broke through her thoughts, innocence wrapped in concern. Sarah met her niece's eyes, searching for a way to keep the magic of their world alive while grappling with the unfamiliar storm rolling in from home. Of course, sweetheart, Sarah said carefully, masking the dread with a smile. Just a little grown-up stuff to sort out, you know? But I thought we were hiding from the storms. Lily protested, her brow furrowed in confusion that a fleeting pang of guilt washed over Sarah. Could she ever truly shield Lily from the storms of reality? We can still hide for a while longer. Let us finish our fort, she replied brightly, though her spirit already felt dampened. They tucked another colored blanket around the edges of their fort, securing it with the stones and branches they had gathered. It felt cozy, a world away from the chaos Sarah could sense brewing in her sister's life. For now, within the quilted walls, they were queens. Each laugh, each twinkle of Lily's eyes reminded Sarah why she needed to keep the magic alive. Okay, royal decree, Lily shouted, her hands splayed in the air with delight. No talk of grown-up stuff in here. Just ice cream and cuddly bears. Deal. Sarah chuckled, desperate to keep her niece's spirits high, even as her heart was gripped with anxiety. The phone buzzed again, breaking their bubble of happiness. This time a call came through from Jess. Sarah's stomach dropped. I think I need to step outside for a minute, Lily. I'll be right back, okay? Okay. Lily chirped, blissfully unaware of the heavy weight behind Sarah's decision. The moment Sarah stepped outside the fort, she felt the break in their joyous atmosphere. The parade music floated faintly in the air, but all she could concentrate on was the pulse of worry beating through her. Jess, what is going on? She answered, her voice steady, but fatigue groaned at the edges. Sarah, it's bad. Jess's voice trembled on the other end, tight and filled with raw emotion. I don't know how to. Can you come home? I need you. The word home wrapped around her like a tight chain, dragging her into a swirling vortex of dread. I'm on my way, she said, the certainty of her response ringing hollow. As she hung up, her heart felt heavy. She glanced back at the fort, at the vibrant burst of smiles and laughter, and felt the cracks begin to show in their magical world. Would this call change everything? Would it be the storm that swept through their kingdom? Taking a deep breath, Sarah stepped back into the beautiful chaos of the parade, knowing she couldn't keep her niece's world untouched forever. Through the laughter of the children and the flutter of tiny crowns, the shadows of reality began to creep in. What would happen when Jess revealed the truth? Would Sarah be strong enough to face it? Or would it sweep her away into a tempest she couldn't endure? As Sarah walked through the parade, vibrant colors swirled around her. Children bounced with joy, their laughter mingling with the cheerful tunes above. But all she could feel was the weight of her sister's voice, heavy and urgent in her ears. Jess needed her. That thought alone made her chest tighten. She glanced back at the fort, a makeshift castle built of blankets and dreams. It felt like a lifetime ago since she and Lily had shared those innocent wishes of ice cream and cuddly bears. The laughter of the parade-goers faded into the background, replaced by the thumping of her heart. "Sarah, look!" Lily's voice rang out, cutting through her haze. Turning, Sarah could see her niece waving wildly from atop a large, painted float, a crown of flowers perched atop her head. Joy radiated from her, a pure, unfiltered happiness. Sarah was momentarily drawn in, her worries pushed to the side, like boats to the dock. "Look, Aunt Sarah, I'm a princess," Lily squealed, her eyes sparkling like the sun. "That's right, my queen," Sarah replied, forcing a smile that felt more fragile than it looked. But inside, turmoil churned. The call from Jess had shattered her realm of whimsy. She wished she could scoop Lily up and carry her away from whatever storm awaited. The clowns and acrobats danced around them, but time slipped away too fast, leaving only uncertainty in its wake. "Can you hold this?" Lily asked, thrusting one of her colorful, feathered wands into Sarah's hands. "I need to wave at the people." "Of course," Sarah chuckled, but as she held it, she felt a tug of longing. That wand wasn't just a toy. It represented the innocence Lily carried, a magic that seemed woven into every fiber of her being. Could she really let anything diminish this light? Suddenly, a family of clowns pranced nearby, their exaggerated antics drawing giggles from the crowd. Sarah's heart ached. The laughter of children enveloped them, yet she felt distant, on the edge of an emotional precipice. "Tell me a secret," Lily chirped, now perched on the edge of the float, her arms outstretched. "What kind of secret?" Sarah asked, a hint of a smile breaking through her anxiety. "The kind that makes us giggle." Sarah knelt beside her, absorbing the radiant glow of youth and innocence. "Okay, my secret is," she leaned in conspiratorially. "This isn't the best ice cream I've ever had, but if you mix every flavor, it might taste like magic." Lily erupted in laughter, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You're silly. Ice cream can't taste like magic." "Can too. And the more flavors you mix, the more crazy and wonderful it gets," she teased back, savoring the moment as laughter danced between them. But even as they joked, a nagging feeling lingered. Jess needed her. The world was shifting beneath Sarah's feet. She felt the strain of obligation pulling her away from this beautiful, whimsical moment. What if she lost both worlds? The chaotic reality awaiting her at home, and the tender joy radiating from Lily? With every passing moment, Sarah's heart raced faster. She could feel time ticking under their laughter, the clock counting down to when she'd have to leave this behind. "I have to go," she whispered to herself. "I can't let this crumble." As she pulled away from her niece's embrace and slowly made her way to the edge of the parade, a sinking certainty settled in. What truth awaited her when she returned home? Would it steal this magic? Or could it somehow transform not just Sarah, but Lily too? Determined, she took one last look at her happy, oblivious niece and turned, knowing a monumental shift lay ahead. Was she ready to face the storm, or was it too late to turn back? The music from the parade faded into the background as Sarah weaved through the throngs of cheerful strangers. Vibrant floats passed by, filled with decorations that shimmered in the bright sunlight, but her heart felt darker than the storm clouds looming outside the city. Each step away from Lily felt heavier than the last, as if the joy from the parade was being pulled back into the chaos of her mind. Sarah's thoughts raced. What if she returned to find Jess even more overwhelmed? A tidal wave of worry washed over her. Jess had always been the strong one, the one people turned to. But lately, the cracks were showing. As much as Sarah loved being with Lily, she couldn't ignore the mounting pressure of family obligations. "Mommy, look at the fireworks," a little boy yelled, pointing skyward in delight. Sarah cast a glance above, seeing nothing but gray clouds, heavy and swollen. Disappointment flooded her, contrasting sharply with the joyful cries around her. Why couldn't everything just align? Rounding a corner, she stumbled upon a street vendor selling cotton candy. The puffy, sugary wisps reminded her of childhood summers spent chasing colorful clouds of sweetness with Jess. A pang of nostalgia settled deep in her heart, but she shook it off. This was about Lily, not her past. Hey, let us grab some. A familiar voice called out, pulling her back into the present. She turned to find a friend, Mia, who had come to join the festivities. Mia's bright smile was infectious, and for a fleeting moment, Sarah felt a glimmer of joy. Are you having fun? Mia asked, her eyes sparkling as she waved a stick of the colorful candy. Fun. Sarah caught herself, forcing a smile. Just a little distracted. Lily looks adorable up there. Mia pointed to the float, and for a moment Sarah's heart swelled at the sight of her niece still waving her wand, lost in her royal fantasy. Yeah, she's in her own world, huh? Sarah replied, warmth flooding her gaze. But the warmth quickly turned cold as reality came crashing back. Sarah, you okay? You seem far away, Mia probed, concern etching her features. I will be. Just a lot on my mind, Sarah admitted, a hint of vulnerability slipping through. Mia's eyes softened. Whatever it is, remember you're not alone. I'm here. If you need to talk, thanks, Mia. Sarah felt gratitude swell in her chest. But she couldn't burden her friend with her tangled thoughts. Without warning, the sky rumbled, a low growl that sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. The laughter quieted, shifting from giddy cheers to murmurs of worry. Looks like a storm is coming, Mia said, glancing skyward. Sarah instinctively scanned the crowd. People began to move, the joyous energy morphing into anxious laughter. She felt the gravity of the moment align with her own fears. A storm wasn't just brewing outside. It was right there inside her heart. I have to go, she said, the urgency in her voice startling herself. Go? Like now? Mia asked, her brows knitted in confusion. Jess is waiting. I can't leave her alone. Hey, wait. Let us not rush this. But Sarah was already moving, her feet carrying her toward the direction where she left the warmth of Lily's laughter. Each step felt more determined, as if her heart was guiding her forward, even with fear wrapping around her like a storm cloud. What awaited her when she walked through that door? Could she truly help Jess through her darkness, or was she on the brink of losing her own sunshine? The path home felt endless. Questions flooded her mind, each one heavier than the last. And with each heartbeat, the answer seemed to drift further away. Would she be strong enough to help her sister? Or would she falter, letting those storm clouds engulf her too? As she opened the front door to her sister's house, uncertainty loomed larger than ever. What awaited her inside? The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway that felt a world away from the parade's joy. An unsettling silence enveloped her, heavy like the clouds outside. Sarah took a deep breath, the air thick with anticipation and worry. Jess? She called, her voice barely above a whisper. No response. Only the echo of her own words lingered in the air. The house seemed swallowed whole by a quiet that knotted her stomach. She stepped inside, letting the door click shut behind her, producing a sound that felt final. Seizing the moment, she moved through the living room, where the remnants of their last family gathering still lingered. A half-finished puzzle lay on the coffee table, its pieces scattered like scattered hopes. Pictures of the family covered the walls, smiling faces frozen in time, memories that now felt distant. Each reminder of happier moments weighed heavy on her heart. Jess? She tried again, her voice stronger this time. Still nothing. Nervously, she ascended the staircase, each step feeling monumental. What was she walking into? Would she find Jess tangled in her own struggles? Or would she be greeted with silence that was more profound than words? At the top of the stairs, Sarah paused outside Jess's bedroom door. She could hear faint sounds of soft sob, maybe? It sliced through the air, a haunting echo of despair that stirred her heart. For a moment, she hesitated. Was she ready to face the reality of her sister's despair? No more stalling, she murmured to herself, steadied by the thought of helping Jess. With gentle resolve, she pushed the door open. The room was dimly lit, curtains drawn tight against the fading light outside. In the corner, Jess sat on the edge of her bed, her head in her hands. Disheveled hair concealed her face, a physical representation of the turmoil within. Jess? Sarah's voice cracked, heavy with concern. Jess slowly lifted her head, eyes red and puffy. Sarah, I didn't want you to see me like this, she said, a jagged breath escaping her lips. I don't care how you look. I care how you feel, Sarah replied, closing the door behind her. In that moment, The weight of their unspoken words hung in the air like an unshed tear. Jess looked so fragile, yet there was a flicker of strength in her gaze. Sarah felt a surge of love and sorrow, as if her heart was both breaking and swelling at the same time. I've been struggling. Everything is just too much. I thought I could handle it, Jess confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. It was a confession both heartbreaking and freeing, a release of the pressure she kept bottled up. It's okay to not handle everything. You don't have to do this alone, Sarah said, her own heart aching at the revelation. How had they gotten to this point? With shaky breaths, Jess met Sarah's eyes. But I don't want to bring you down with me, she protested, fear evident in her voice. I'm already here, Jess. We can face this together. The sincerity in Sarah's tone was palpable. She crossed the space between them and wrapped her arms around her sister, pulling her into a comforting embrace. The warmth of the moment wrapped around them, a fragile shield against the storms, both outside and inside. But even as they held on tightly, Sarah felt a shift, her own worries creeping back in. Could she really help Jess navigate through this darkness? But before she could voice her thoughts, Jess pulled back slightly and looked at her with wide, vulnerable eyes. I need someone to believe in me, she admitted, her voice trembling. You have me, Sarah promised, knowing that this affirmation was as much for her sister as it was for herself. Yet, uncertainty still loomed like storm clouds threatening to break. Just then, the thunder roared outside, rattling the windows, an echo of their internal struggles. What lay ahead? Could they weave a path through the tumultuous storm of emotions together? Or would they be swept away by the fury of their feelings? With a heart full of hope, but also fear, Sarah knew this was only the beginning. What would they uncover in each other's vulnerabilities? The rain began to tap softly against the window, creating a rhythmic backdrop as Sarah settled beside Jess on the bed. The space between them was charged with unspoken emotions, an electric silence heavy with all the things they had left unsaid for too long. Do you remember when we used to build those blanket forts in the living room? Sarah asked, trying to spark a flicker of joy amid the palpable sadness. We made the best secret hideouts. A small smile broke through Jess's tears, reminiscent of the sister who once giggled in delight during carefree afternoons. Yeah, and you always made me the princess. Of course. Who else could pull off a tiara made of noodles so brilliantly? Sarah chuckled, relieved to see a hint of light in Jess's eyes. Jess laughed softly. You were always the queen of creativity. But then the laughter faded as reality resurfaced. The weight of Jess's struggles hovered between them like a shadow, threatening to swallow their moment of reprieve. Sarah leaned closer, placing a comforting hand on her sister's back. It's okay to be a little lost right now. Life can throw some heavy stuff our way, but we're still in this together. Jess turned to face her, raw emotions swirling in her gaze. I don't want to feel this way, Sarah. I don't want to be the burden. You're so strong. What if I drag you down? No one can drag me down without my permission, Sarah replied firmly, her honesty wrapping around Jess like a calming embrace. And you being open about your feelings? That makes you brave. It doesn't make you a burden. We'll carry this together. Sarah was surprised by the steadiness of her own voice. With each word, it became clearer. They were building a bridge back to each other, brick by brick. I just don't want to keep disappointing you, Jess said, her voice breaking on the last syllable. You have your life together. I can't keep messing it up. You're not messing anything up, Sarah insisted. You're human, Jess. And what's more important is that we learn to pick up the pieces together. The vulnerability in Jess's eyes relented, giving way to a rush of gratitude. It feels good to be able to talk about it. I've been so trapped in here. She gestured at her head and chest, feeling like no one understands. I get it, Sarah replied, her own fears washing away in the wake of Jess's honesty. And after everything we've been through, I think we're stronger together than apart. You'll see, we'll figure this out. As the storm continued to rage outside, powerful and wild, the sisters found solace in each other's presence. The world beyond the walls began to fade, and the panic that had gripped Sarah's heart loosened its hold. Can you promise me something? Jess asked tentatively, her brow furrowing slightly. What is it? Promise me that no matter how hard it gets, we let go of each other. That we'll talk no matter how messy things get. I promise, Sarah replied, her voice steady. Messy is just part of the ride. And hey, We'll even take notes so we can laugh about this later. Jess chuckled softly, a hint of relief washing over her. You're terrible. True. But I'm your terrible sister. And I'll always be here, no matter the storm. Just then, a loud crash of thunder reverberated through the house, a reminder of the turmoil that still lay beyond their sanctuary. Jess inhaled sharply, her body tensing yet again. Hey, look at me, Sarah said, gently turning Jess's chin to face her. We're safe, right here. The thunder can't touch us. We have each other. As Jess searched Sarah's eyes, the fear began to ebb away, replaced by a fragile sense of hope. Their connection felt stronger now, as if the storm had forged an invisible thread between them, sculpting the shape of their resilience. I really want to believe you, Jess whispered, her voice imbued with longing. Let us take it one day at a time, Sarah suggested, squeezing her sister's hand. But what if we take a moment to celebrate the little victories, like you telling me how you really feel? Okay, then tomorrow, I'll try to find one good thing to share, Jess agreed, a hint of determination returning to her voice. Great. I'll keep the list, Sarah said, a playful glint returning to her eyes. But even as laughter began to bubble up again, both sisters felt the weight of the path ahead pressing in. What other layers of darkness would they need to face? Before either of them could voice their anxious thoughts, a loud thump echoed from downstairs, shattering the fragile moment of comfort. What was that? Jess whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Let us check it out together, Sarah said, squeezing Jess's hand again as they steeled themselves for whatever awaited. Little did they know, this unexpected disturbance would uncover truths both shocking and transformative. As Sarah and Jess descended the stairs, apprehension radiated through the air. The house, once a fortress of cherished memories, now trembled with uncertainty. Each creak of the floorboards echoed the uncharted fears blooming inside their hearts. Do you think it was the wind? Jess whispered, her voice barely audible. Maybe, Sarah replied, her breath shaky as they reached the bottom step. But deep down, she knew the storm outside mirrored the turbulence lurking within their relationship. Arriving at the living room, they stood frozen as they discovered a familiar sight. One of the pictures hanging on the wall had fallen, glass shattered across the floor. It was a picture of their family taken during summer vacations, everyone beaming with joy. Now, the tattered edges felt like reminders of the fractures in their lives. As Sarah leaned down to pick up the pieces of glass, she felt Jess move beside her. It's like our lives right now, Jess said softly, her voice a murmur against the silence. Beautiful but broken. A knot formed in Sarah's throat. Yeah, but maybe the beauty can still shine through. Tears glimmered in Jess's eyes, illuminating the pain they had both carried. What if I can never put the pieces back together? Then we just find another way, together. Sarah's words were steady, wrapping around Jess like a lifeline thrown in turbulent seas. The weight of vulnerability hung in the air. Each sister saw in the other the scars that had formed over years, the disappointments, and unsaid words. They were tougher than they looked. Then, Jess surprised both of them as she sat down cross-legged amidst the shards, forcing a laugh. We could also just get really creative and make a new piece of art from these broken bits. Sarah chuckled at the thought. A collage of chaos. I'm in. As laughter broke the heaviness, a sense of relief washed over them, healing like sunlight filtering through storm clouds. Maybe we can create something beautiful out of the mess, Jess said, her eyes sparkling once more with that flicker of hope. Absolutely. We can start fresh, just like we did when we were kids. The memories of blanket forts flooded Sarah's heart, painting a clear image of resilience against the odds. They sat side by side, amidst the remnants of the shattered frame. Bring on the broken pieces, Sarah declared with a smile, and Jess laughed, a sound of true joy that leaped between them. Let us not just focus on the bad. How about we make a promise today? Jess said, a sudden spark of determination transforming her tone. What kind of promise? Sarah asked, intrigued. We promise to uncover at least one thing that brings us joy every day. It could be big, or it could be the tiniest of things, like ice cream or a good song on the radio. Something to remind us that there's still a sprinkle of happiness even when life gets tough. I love that idea, Sarah agreed, her heart swelling with love for her sister. Let us do it. As they structured their plan amidst the mess, they rose, stepping over shards of glass, metaphorically reclaiming the space and each other. The broken picture had become a pivotal line, carving a new path for them to walk together. Suddenly, the storm outside mellowed, and a soft sunlight began to break through the clouds, creeping into their home. It was as if the universe recognized their transformation. Sarah turned to Jess, a warm smile on her face. "See, we're already rebuilding." "Yes," Jess replied, tears still glistening in her eyes but now accompanied by the smile of a bravely awakening heart. Together, in that moment, their bond solidified into something unbreakable. They understood that though storms might come and go, their connection served as a fortress against any tempest. As they began to gather the shards, laughter mingled with purpose in the air, filling the room with warmth. The road ahead would be challenging, but they were armed with hope and unwavering belief that together, they could conquer anything. And as the last pieces of glass were collected, Jess turned to Sarah with a bright smile. "You think we can rebuild that photo frame too?" Sarah laughed, nodding. "Definitely. We could hang it somewhere special." As they set to work, the rhythm of their hearts beat in harmony. Together, they were discovering the light even in darkness, and for the first time in a long time, they felt ready for whatever else the storm had to throw their way. Now, let us take this journey together. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. It's time to show your support. Leave a like immediately to feed the algorithm. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this heartwarming transformation. Your engagement is everything. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Let's embrace this journey together.